Because you've likely internalized the message that self sacrifice is the only way to be a good person. Period. You see, feeling guilty for prioritizing yourself is incredibly common, and it often stems from deep rooted beliefs about self worth, responsibility, and what it means to be good or caring. Many of us were raised in environments that taught us to put others first. Maybe you were praised for being helpful, selfless, or understanding of others' needs. The problem is that this can lead to the subconscious belief that taking care of yourself is somehow selfish or wrong. When you grow up in when you grow up with these beliefs, prioritizing yourself can feel like a betrayal of those ideals and by extension of who you believe you should be. At its core, this guilt often comes from confusing self-care with selfishness. Self-care is about ensuring that your own needs are met. So you have the energy, clarity, and peace of mind to show up in the world as your best self. Whereas selfishness, on the other hand, is about ignoring the needs of others for personal gain. But when the line between these gets blurred, it's easy to feel like any attention to your own needs means you're neglecting or harming others. Another reason guilt creeps in when prioritizing yourself is because of social conditioning. Society has long celebrated people, especially women, for being nurturing, self sacrificing, and willing to put others first. We rarely hear stories about people who lived balanced, self respecting lives. Instead, we hear about those who went above and beyond for others, even at their own expense. This glorification can make it feel like you're doing something wrong if you step away from those expectations to focus on what you need. The fear of disappointing or upsetting others is also at play here. When you start setting boundaries, saying no, or carving out time for yourself, you might worry about how others will react. Maybe they've come to expect a certain level of availability or support from you, and the thought of letting them down can feel intensely uncomfortable. But the reality is, people who truly care about you want to see you take care of yourself. They don't want you to burn out. If if they do make you feel guilty, it's because they are struggling to respect boundaries, not because you're doing something wrong. There is also the perfectionist mindset to consider. Many people who feel guilty for prioritizing themselves have an underlying sense that they need to earn their rest or self care. You may feel like you need to work harder, help more people, or solve more problems before you are allowed to focus on yourself. But this can trap you in a cycle where there's always more to do, and you never quite get to the point where you feel you've done enough to justify your own needs. So, finally, guilt for self prioritization often comes from undervaluing your own needs. It's easy to fall into the trap of thinking that others' needs are somehow more valid or urgent than your own. This happens because for many of us, we are taught to be empathetic and to consider other people's feelings, but we aren't taught to extend that empathy inward. So, why do you feel guilty for prioritizing yourself? Because you've likely internalized the message that self sacrifice is the only way to be a good person. Period. But remember this: taking care of yourself doesn't make you selfish or uncaring. In fact, it's the opposite. When you honor your own needs, you become stronger, more balanced, and more available to people who matter. By shedding the guilt, you're not just prioritizing yourself, you're learning to value yourself, which is one of the best things you can do for both you and those around you. I hope this helps someone today. God bless you.